If you find the real estate market stressful, confusing, and complicated, then you've come to the right place. Stay tuned as Randy and his expert guests dispel the myths and give you a dose of reality. It's Real Estate Revealed. And here's your host, Chicagoland's premier home appraiser, Randy Barcella.
A very enthusiastic and exciting welcome to Real Estate Revealed, and I am Randy Barcella. It is always a joy for me to be with you every Sunday morning. I am happy that you tuned in. Today's packed show. What happens if your appraisal comes in low? Yeah, you listed it for sale. You got multiple offers. It's sold for 20, 30, 40 over list price. Now what do you do? Well, we're going to learn from the premier real estate expert from Ad Properties. Yeah, Paula Avenham.
Good morning.
Also, what may be the valid reasons to back out of your sales contract? I love this one. In studio is the premier real estate attorney. Yeah, Vincent Arricchio. Also, auto insurance, insuring your everyday and your collector car. Wow. And to educate us, as he always does, is the premier certified financial planner from Country Financial. Yeah, Gary Browner. Also, reevaluating your home purchase. What are the new factors now? Well, in studio is the premier real estate broker from Chicago Properties. Yeah, Sandra Wright. And lastly, home inspections. Are they really necessary when you go to buy? And in studio to dispel the myths versus reality is the premier realtor from Baird & Warner. Yeah, Mark McKenna. Hey, don't forget, everybody, we're live. This isn't one of these recorded, syndicated shows. We're your local hosts on your local station here in Chicago. Yeah, 312-642-5600. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. So what happens if your appraisal comes in low, Paula Avenham from Ad Properties?
Hi, Randy.
And by the way, it was Paula's birthday last week, but she wasn't on the show. So we all have to say happy birthday to Paula Avenham. I think you're, 39 now?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with that.
Paula the professor. You got to get out to Facebook right now, everybody. I have videos of Paula, and she looks like a professor with the glasses on and her notes. So anyways, what happens, Paula, if your appraisal comes in low?
Yes, this is a big topic.
This is a big story because as an appraiser, I'm involved with this every week.
Yeah. So, you're moving along nicely, and then you got the appraisal. The appraisal is done, and what happens when the appraisal doesn't appraise? Oh, my gosh, what do we do? That's what everybody is, they panic. And
run for the hills.
Run for the hills. But there are things that you can do. There are three scenarios when that happens initially. So the seller can lower the price. Do you think a seller is going to lower the price in this market?
Not after 3 or 4 or 5 offers.
Yeah. No, not in this market. A seller is not going to lower their price. The chances of that are very, very low. So the other alternative is that the buyer and seller can split the difference. That's a conversation that I've had a couple of times already come up. We've done it and then we've not done it. And then the scenario that seems to be coming up the most is that the buyer can make up the difference. So
what do you mean?
Yeah. What do I mean? So especially if a buyer, this is a scenario when a buyer is financing, right?
Okay. Yep.
So let's say, for example, that they're purchasing a home for $500,000, right? They have to put 20% down. So it's a $400,000 loan, correct? So let's say the house appraises at, the purchase price is $500,000, but it appraises at $490,000. So they have an 80% mortgage, right?
Oh, so they have to come up with the extra $10,000.
Well, so it's 80% of
80% now. Oh, okay.
It's 80% of the difference. So instead of them coming up with the $400,000, they're going to have to come up with, instead of coming up with $100,000, they're going to have to come up with $108,000.
Okay.
So, that could work for some people and it could be just fine. And then for others, it might be an issue on many different reasons other than just the financing, because then they're worried. Why am I paying more? Is it going to hurt them in the long run if they decide to sell later? So those are conversations you have to have with your broker to assess the value of, the area, the comps. The problem with the market right now is that the sales haven't caught up to the market yet, right? So the other thing that you can do, so there are some other options if that does come up. So you can avoid that in the beginning of the process of your sale and have a buyer sign a waiver, an appraisal waiver. That's just on a case-per-case basis, and it has been coming up more now with multiple offers, basically breaking it down to saying how are we going to tighten up this offer, and who's going to give the best offer, right? If there are less contingencies.
And also I've had on appraisals where the house sold so far over, like your instance here, you listed it for $499, it sold for $530,000, 4 offers up, and the appraisal came in at $490. Sometimes there's no sales. Like as an appraiser, I go to a different area to make it work because that's how the property values increase. You can't go on past sales 6 months ago. You have to make a time adjustment for now because it's 2 or 3 days on the market. So make sure appraisers do that. But sometimes, let's say it's sold for $570. You are so far over all the comps and time adjustments I can make, it's not going to fly through underwriting anyway. So you got to be careful. You can get multiple offers, but sometimes your multiple offer is so far over all the sales.
Right. I mean, if you're $70,000 short, I would have a serious conversation about, probably not moving forward. But that's really, ultimately, it's up to the buyer. I mean, and if they're a cash buyer,
unless that's where you always wanted to live and you're going to be there for the next 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I had a property in Lincolnshire where the buyers came up, a certain amount over, a pretty nice amount over, and had said that, anyways, they came up a certain amount, and then there was another buyer that said that they were willing to come up even more than that because that's where they saw themselves living for the rest of their lives. So it was worth it for that investment for them. The other thing you want to do is when you know you have an appraisal, go to obviously you'll be at that appraisal. Be prepared as the listing agent. I mean, I spent 2.5 hours with my last appraiser, true story, and I pulled the comps, but there were also, again, we weren't caught up to the market yet, so I gave him some comps of listings that were listed in February and March. I knew would be closing soon, and obviously I don't know what they're closing at, but it's something for him to consider because there were 3 properties that were great comps. At least 2 out of the 3, if not the 3, are going to close. And in this market, they're probably closing at the list price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Paula Avenham, how can somebody get a hold of you for your great advice on everything in the real estate market?
Thank you. 773-988-7341, or you can email me at paulaavenham@properties.com.
And what's your phone number again?
773-988-7341.
And I want to remind everybody, this is Sunday. We're working after the radio show, so call any one of us. We're here to help you, and we're excited about it. But, yeah, that's great information about what if your house appraises for less than it's sold for. Hey, speaking of great information, what may be valid reasons to back out of your sales contract? Well, in studio is the premier real estate attorney, and to educate us as always, Vincent Arricchio. Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Randy. Wonderful to be here with you this morning. Now, this is a really, really timely topic because this is one of the main reasons for my counsel sometimes if you have to back out of a sale. And I want to stress, I want to be the closer, not the deal killer.
Okay.
I'm going to try to rebrand myself as the closer. So anything I say is not meant to purposely kill deals, Randy.
I watched The Godfather rerun last night, and that's you, the Italian Vincent Arricchio. He's the closer.
I'll take it as the closer, not the deal killer. So following up, Paula, exactly, appraisals. I think this is a hot topic right now because of the current market, because of multiple offer situations. And what I do is work with the agents, but on the same topic of what happens if it doesn't appraise out. My sellers are on pins and needles, like what's coming, and my buyers are like, what can we do? And what happens is in this market, a lot of buyers are stretched. A lot of buyers are found the best home they could under the circumstances. So they've stretched to their last dollar. And Paul has raised an excellent point. You can split the baby or you can try to come up with the money. But what happens when the buyer can't? If the buyer's overreached and they could get the house of their dreams, but they don't have any other money in the kitty.
Then what happens?
Well, we have a problem because the buyer has to go to the seller and say, I love your house. I want to buy it. Please, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, it doesn't appraise out at this price. And I don't have any extra cash. I don't have any extra scratch. I don't have any margin. You're going to have to lower the price. And by the way, here's what you spin. It doesn't always work. The next buyer's going to get the same appraisal.
Well, yeah, maybe, but maybe not. Because if, like I said, those 3 contingents deals that I gave to the appraiser, knowing that within the next month or two they were closing. And in this market, they're either closing at that list price.
Yes.
And at least 2 or 3 of them out of the 3 are going to close.
So there's many appraisers don't know how to produce an appraisal in an increasing market.
I hear you.
Exactly.
And what I was trying to say, the bargaining position
hold
from the
that
buyer.
argument, because we're coming up to a quick break. At the end of my seat, oh my God, Vincent Arricchio. But these are great, valid topics going on right now. Hey, I'm Randy Barcella, and you're enjoying the Real Estate Revealed radio show every Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. on AM 560 The Answer. We're coming up to a quick break, but if you want to see videos of Paula and Vince and everybody on the studio, we're live. 312-642-5600. And if you get out to Facebook right now, Real Estate Revealed on Facebook, I have videos of everybody in the studio. And we're live. Call in, 312-642-5600. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella.
It's so good, it's so good. Feels so good to me. It's so good, it's so good. I don't want to stop now. It's so good.
And it's always so good to be with you every Sunday morning. Oh my gosh, welcome back to the Real Estate Revealed radio show. I'm Randy Barcella, your show host. And you know what? Thank you all so much for making us your Sunday habit. If it wasn't for you, we would not be here week after month after year. And they tell me that we're one of the longest running in Chicago now, all of Northern Illinois, all of the Midwest. This is our 14th year. It's because of you, the audience. Thank you so much. Hey, right before the break, and don't forget we're live. This is not one of these syndicated shows and recorded shows. We're always here for you to call in and ask questions or tell a joke. 312-642-5600. Yeah, that's our number, 312-642-5600. And right before the break, we've got the premier real estate attorney, Vincent Arricchio. And he said, what may be valid reasons to back out of a sales contract? And he just started on it, had us at the edge of the seat, and now the rest of the story. Good morning, Vincent.
Well, yes, Randy. And we left off with where, when you have an appraisal come in low, what can a buyer and seller do? And what happens if the buyer is at their last dollar and can't pony up more? Because as Paula eloquently shared, when the lender will only give so much on the appraised value, actually the buyer has to make up the difference to buy the house. And if they're on their last dollar, how do they make up their difference? So the negotiation, the tactic, the statement from the buyer needs to be, you're going to get the same appraisal from the next buyer, so please go with me.
If it's an FHA or VA, because you're stuck with that appraisal for 120 days. However, if you go conventional, if a new buyer comes with a new lender, they might hit the number.
Oh, perfect. Now, remember, I was very careful. I said the tactic.
Oh, thank you.
I said
yes,
the negotiation.
Sir.
So you raise excellent points, because now the ball's in the seller's court to say, well, do I really believe that? Do I want to take a risk with the next buyer, or in a multiple offer situation, the buyers I already have?
What a beautiful thing, Vince, that you've got 5 offers to look at.
It is, and that's something that's happening in many parts of our state in this market. Now, that's one of the reasons, Randy, may be valid to back out. The buyer says, you want to know what, Mr. Seller, you don't want to lower your price. Mrs. Buyer says, I'm good. I'm not going to come up with any more money, and they part ways. So
let's say, for this example, I'm coming to you. I'm a third-time home buyer. I'm in my 60s or 70s, and I'm putting 60% down, and I'm financing a very little. It doesn't matter what the appraisal comes in at.
That is true.
Sometimes.
That is true. So now what's not supposed to happen is when a buyer has the money, or when a buyer has plenty of options available, that they use the appraisal contingency as a sword.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to come in as a renegotiation point. That's a little dirty pool, because really what you're trying to say is, work with me, Mr. Seller, because of my situation, not, oh, now that you're overpriced, lower your price. And sellers definitely shouldn't give in on that. Sellers shouldn't allow the appraisal to be another round of negotiations. Now, I'm a seller's attorney, so I'm going to have plenty of sellers that tell me, Vince, I don't like this. And there's going to be buyer's attorneys who do it. But that's really not what I was bringing up. I was bringing up valid reasons to back out. You made that offer. You wanted that house. You should honor your offer, in my opinion. But a valid reason is if the appraisal comes in low and it hurts you with your lender situation and your out-of-pocket money, Randy.
Wow.
The next thing is water damage, mold issues. I know we don't have a lot of time, but the big two valid reasons to back out is if you find evidence of water. That could have been a past leaky pipe repaired. That could have been just simply a water stain on a ceiling in a condo. Why is that important? It could be nothing. In fact, to be honest, I don't know why the seller didn't run up there and paint over the water spot before the showing, because sellers have a duty to tell the truth on this disclosure form. Are they aware of any past or current problems? And some of the disclosures just say current problems. So what sellers will do is they'll paint over the ceiling, whistle Dixie, and move along. What I do as an attorney for buyers is I ask in my attorney review letter, are there any water situations from the past? Any leaks or inclement water situations?
And of course, in the basement, I've had a lot of deals where you see that they just had this goo squirted high pressure into the cracks in the foundation, and they have it certified by the waterproofing company that the foundation does not leak anymore. And that's fine.
That is fine. In fact, a lot of people who are buying houses...
There was a problem, but not now.
A lot of people who are buying houses aren't going to want to hear this, but I can guarantee you basements leak. Basements
always crack the foundation vertically.
Yes.
Because that's just part of settling over the years.
Yes.
However, if you have a horizontal crack that might be a half inch or an inch, that's structural.
It is. And what you want to see is repair evidence. You want to ask...
Love it.
Follow up on, is there anything current? And you have to... There is a modicum of trust in this situation.
Yeah.
So you have to decide. But water leads to mold, possibly. I had an inspector once tell me every house has mold. Think about that. It's a little scary because you're like, oh, mold is scary things. No, it's whether it's elevated and it's whether it's active. There is a possibility that there's
green algae on
mold.
the north side of houses because it doesn't get any sunlight, but it's not going to kill you. And there's some mold that'll start to build in your shower or bathroom if you don't have it clean often enough. But yeah, you're right. Most mold. And there's mold on blue cheese that we eat.
There is. And cheese is mold. A lot of people don't think about it. Yeah. Finally, the same answer, Randy, is with radon. We have these disclosures for a reason because in our area, that's what we have. Yeah. Elevated radon is another good reason to consider backing out if you don't want to go forward with that.
So if our audience wants to get a hold of you for more details on what's a valid reason to back out of your sales contract, how could they get a hold of you?
Sure. Please call us at 312-263-0010. Our website as well, reallawchicago.com, or check out realestaterevealedcomp too, Randy.
That's Vincent Aricchio. Hey, get out to Facebook right now. I have videos of everybody in the studio, Real Estate Revealed on Facebook. That's Vincent Aricchio. Wow, great topics. Hey, and speaking of great topics, moving right along, auto insurance, not only your everyday, but also your collector's car. And to give us some more education, as he always does, is the premier certified financial planner from Country Financial. Yeah, Gary Broner. Gary, good morning, my friend.
Hey, good morning, Randy. Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning.
Yeah, one thing I find is people will spend a lot of money on a car, $40, $50, $60, $80, $100,000, and then they're going to be having inadequate insurance. I was just talking with somebody the other day who had an accident on a 5-month-old Jaguar, the electric version of the I-Pace.
Wow.
And car was totaled.
Terrible.
But their representative never had any discussion with him about the endorsement for the gap.
Yes.
So that person ended up losing a lot of money on a brand new car. Give you another good example.
I never heard that before. There's a gap. Explain that.
Well, like, for instance, Country Financial offers an endorsement called the Keeper.
So, and an endorsement is an extra layer of insurance,
right,
just in case for the audience.
Exactly. And it's for 4 model years. And what happened was in 2014, I had purchased a Toyota Prius, and in November of 2016, the car was totaled. And I received $31,000 from Country, the price of a 2016 or 2017 model, because they were out already at that point, for my replacement of a 3-year-old car. And so just by having a little discussion like that with your representative will help avoid problems where you're going to, instead of just, I was made whole. Actually, I made a lot of money on the car.
Well, explain what happens if you don't get that endorsement. What is status quo?
The Kelly Blue Book price on my 2014 Toyota Prius was about $18,000. So that's what I would have gotten.
Much less than 31.
31,000, correct. So it's just the idea that by having that discussion and asking certain questions, here's a scenario, what happens? And you as a client could lose out. That's some of the issues when you're dealing with a company who's just on the internet and you're just doing things like on a menu and you're just picking options, and you don't really have the discussion about liability, how much protection I should have on the liability. Another good example is I had a client back in December of 2020 was trying to save some money on their auto insurance premium, and they had a 2011 van, and they decided to drop their collision and comprehensive on the car. And I was really telling them not to do that because I said the van was still worth about $10,000. And they said, no, they were adamant. So I said, let's try and at least put on uninsured motorists on property damage on the car. And they said, no, Gary, we're just trying to cut out a lot of our bills in that respect. Unfortunately, what happened 3 months later, they got hit by an uninsured motorist. Fortunately, she had injuries. Unfortunately, she had injuries. Country was able to cover all those injuries through her uninsured liability, but her car was totaled. We were not able to cover that car because she didn't have uninsured property damage.
Hey, Gary, we're coming up to a quick break, and I want to hear more about this. Hey, you're listening to the Real Estate Revealed radio show every Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. I'm Randy Barcella, your show host, and this is Gary Browner from Country Financial, the certified financial planner, and I didn't know that about car insurance. That's really exciting information. Hey, we're live, 312-642-5600. Yeah, 312-642-5600. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella.
Yeah, baby.
I like it like that. I can't sing it all, so don't change the station, but I can dance. I love salsa. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, America. Welcome back to the Real Estate Revealed radio show, enjoyed every Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. And I'm Randy Barcella, your show host. Hey, before the break, we were talking with Gary Browner. He's the premier certified financial planner from Country Financial, and I didn't know this, but he's going over some valuable tips about insuring your everyday car and your collector car. Hey, and don't forget, we're live. This isn't one of these recorded syndicated shows. This is your local hosts from the Chicagoland area and suburbs, and we're here every week to give you valuable content and information to make your life stress-free going through this real estate and financial market. And we're live, 312-642-5600. Yeah, 312-642-5600. Gary Browner.
Hey, Randy. Yeah, another situation, too, I have is I had a client call me a couple of weeks ago. We were insuring his car for just storage because he was restoring this vehicle. And it's these boomers who are reliving their childhood. And he has a 1993 GMC Typhoon. And the big number there is that the car is a 1993. It's only 28 years old. Most insurance companies have to consider a car 30 years old or older as an antique. So for insurance purposes, he wanted to get full coverage on it. We would only be insuring that car for its actual value at that point. And so he wanted to put a value of $50,000 after his restoration on the car. And so I recommended that we switch him over to Hagerty, which is a collector car specialist insurance company. And Hagerty insured them. They renegotiated it down to $41,000 on the value, but they gave him $41,000 value on the Typhoon, and the insurance was actually less than what we were going to charge him with Country at that point. So by just doing these little things for clients, you can take better care of them and give them what they want in that respect. I just had a client call me on Saturday, and he loves Broncos, and so he's got a 78 and a 79 Bronco. And we did the same thing. Even though we had him on antique value with Country, but it was actually less expensive to switch him over to Hagerty. And Hagerty, like I said, is a specialist in the collector car. They offer some really nice endorsements that are included on their policies. And they'll even do some things like if you're restoring a current car, they'll allow you to place it on storage, and it's a minimal value to have that car insured. And so it's just, when you talk with your representative, with the kind of car you have and the age and the valuation that you may want to have, it's like some of these collector cars are like an investment. And so they have some value. And so what you want to make sure is that you are properly covered in that respect.
And Gary Browner, there's a lot of people listening that fall into this category of really needing to know the different ways of insuring cars. And most insurance companies, I don't know that they really go through this sort of detail that you do. And I think they'd be welcome to try to get a hold of you and discuss this, because my agent never called me about any of this, and I'm sure that they need your advice. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can get a hold of me by calling my cell, 630-863-4775. My phone is on from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. Or you can go to the website, realestaterevealedcomp5352, and pull my bio, as you can with all the other co-hosts on the show, and you can get all my contact information from there.
Yeah, Gary Browner. Wow, great information. Hey, speaking of great information, reevaluating your home purchase. What a nice question. And there's a lot of things happening now that are different than they were 5, 10, 15 years ago. But in studio is the premier real estate broker from Chicago Properties. Yeah, Sandra Wright. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm excited to be here. And, you know, it's obviously a busy, hectic weekend for both buyers and sellers right now. And I just figured this was a good opportunity to really talk about, you know, some of the shift that both buyers and sellers are having when it comes to the decision as to purchasing or selling your property at this point. You know, these weekends where, you know, you're running with me as an agent, I'm running with buyers. We're writing multiple offers. We are running into highest and best left and right. So buyers are, you know, a little bit more looking at things in a different perspective. They're like, you know, do I need to look at different areas than where I've been looking at? Do I have to look at a price adjustment in the type of property that I'm looking at? I mean, is it worth me looking for a property right now? I mean, all of these are important factors. And obviously there's this shift with COVID and with like decisions on how much people are willing to get that property right now.
Sandra, you're bringing up a good point, because the way the multiple offers are going and some of the prices, like let's say you listed for $499, people are paying $550 way over. And sometimes the prices are so way over list. Maybe it's okay to just sit on the sidelines for now, because this might calm down.
Right.
And you don't want to be caught paying $100,000 too much.
Right. Well, that is true. You never know how things are going to shift. I don't have a crystal ball, but if I did, I mean, I definitely would be, you know, telling everybody which direction we need to go. But
hey, we're coming up to a quick break, and I don't want to rush you at all. This is Sandra Wright, the premier real estate broker from Chicago Properties. Yeah, we're live. If you want to call in and say hello, tell a quick joke, ask Sandra some questions, 312-642-5600. I'm Randy Barcella, your show host, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
It's not unusual for us to love our audience and have a blast every Sunday morning. Oh my gosh, we're having a great time. I hope you are too. And thanks again, everybody, for making us your Sunday habit. If it wasn't for you, we're not here week after month after year. And I understand now we're one of the longest running Midwest shows on the weekend. Yeah, it's our 14th year. Thank you all. And we're live, 312-642-5600. Yeah, that's our number. 312-642-5600. And in studio is Sandra Wright. She's the premier real estate broker from Chicago Properties. And she was talking about some great ideas to ponder about reevaluating your home purchase. Sandra Wright.
Yes. So, you know, as far as obviously we got so many different new factors in the whole process of buying or selling in this crazy market right now. So one, I was just touching on buying as a buyer. It's like, I would say, obviously you're in that mode of multiple offers, houses, you know, going under contract quickly, but, you know, taking a step back and maybe reevaluating some of your decisions, some of your pros and cons, and, you know, whether that is looking in other areas within the Chicagoland area. I have a client that I'm going out to more of the suburbs rather than downtown Chicago, just because they've lost probably 5 offers at this point for a single family home in downtown Chicago. So now we're going about 20 minutes outside of Chicago just to get a different perspective. And they're realizing they can get a little bit more space. They can get a little bit more land. And, you know, it's a win-win when you kind of open your mind, not have that tunnel vision, but kind of looking at things from a different perspective.
And Sandra, what I'm getting from you is it's okay, everybody listening to the show this morning. Don't get caught up in the hurry, fast, bid, way over bid. You know, it's okay to just take a deep breath and get on the sidelines and go at your own pace because, you know, you got to stay true to yourself. Exactly.
And I mean, don't get me wrong.
Because anything that costs you your peace is too expensive.
Right.
Take time out. Just relax.
Right. I always tell my clients, I'm like, don't worry. There are plenty of properties. It's like there is not the issue that there won't be the house there for you. It's just making sure you find the right one. And you don't want to just find one just to settle. So again, it's a different learning curve for all of us. I mean, us as agents, too, we're being as quick and nimble as we can to work with the buyers and the sellers to get things to market for the seller, to make sure that everyone is finding the best property at the best price, and the seller is walking away with, a good sold property that's fair and at the right value that they want to sell it at.
And Sandra, how could somebody get a hold of you for more of your great advice? Not only city of Chicago, but suburbs now.
Exactly. You can always reach me on my cell. It's 773-294-4444. You can always text or call. And then I do have a website, wd-realestate.com. Happy to answer any questions, and you can obviously get a bio on AM 560, the Real Estate Revealed website as well.
Thank you, Sandra. Right. And moving right along with some great information. I love this here. Home inspections, are they really necessary? Okay, you put an offer in on a house. You got 5 days now to make up your mind. Do you want to get a home inspection done or you want to hurry to closing? I don't know about hurrying to anything. We've got the premier realtor from Baird & Warner. Yeah, Mark McKenna. Good morning.
Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Sandra. Great to be
morning.
here again. We have a contract on the property. We have 5 days to go through the attorney review. And one of the big issues, it's a scary word for sellers and the buyers as well, inspection. You know, should you do it? Is it necessary? By right, you do have the right to do the inspection. And every one of my buyers, I always strongly suggest go for it. You have to do it. I mean, purchasing a house, it's one of the biggest purchases of your life. You want to make sure you're buying a sound house that is, structurally sound, that major components of the house are working correctly. So, getting an inspector, it's not just tearing the house apart, looking for little things. You really want to make sure that the foundation, the structural part of the house is good. You don't want to get into this much trouble and lots of expenses fixing this, or maybe not even be able to fix it. Another thing that is very important, when doing an inspection, check out the plumbing. Plumbing issues, could be very expensive if you have to fix them. Heating, air conditioning systems, one of the major components of the house. Electrical system as well. So, give you an example. We had a contract 2 weeks ago with one of my buyers, beautiful part of town, Inverness, house, $560,000. We knew we're getting into a home that needs some updates. It was an estate sale. We thought we were getting a deal, but then the inspection came. Took us 4 hours. I mean, this was a big inspection. And at the end, my buyers decided to pull out of the deal because right off the bat, there would be $100,000 into the house just before even renovating everything. Complete roof replacement was necessary. Water issues in the basement, cracks in the foundations.
That's a lot. I would walk away from that purchase too.
You know what? You're spending $500,000 or more. You kind of...
In the typical mind of general public, they can't see all these details, and maybe it's been vacant for 2 years, and there's mold in the HVAC ductwork throughout the house, and you might get sick. Hey, you know what? We're coming up to a quick break, but these are really good points from Mark McKenna, the premier realtor from Baird & Warner. And we're coming up to a quick break, but I'm Randy Barcella, your show host, and thank you all so much for making us your Sunday habit. Without you, we are not here week after month after year. Hey, would you get out to the website? realestaterevealed.com, REVEALED.com. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Real Estate Revealed with your host, Randy Barcella.
You're like heaven and earth, can't take my eyes off of you. You're too good to be true. I can't sing at all, so don't change the station. But I love to dance. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Revealed radio show, enjoyed every Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m., and, of course, we're live, 312-642-5600. And before the break, we were talking with one of the premier real estate brokers, and he is also fluent in Polish, realtor for Baird & Warner. Yeah, Mark McKenna. And the question is, a lot of people ask this, hey, I just bought this house. Let's hurry, get to closing, or do I need to put up $400+ for a home inspection? It looks fine to me. I don't know. I think you really need it. And Gary, Mark McKenna was really pointing out some specific things that could really go wrong.
You know, just like you coming back to that previous segment we had, just like you said, you know, a few $100s, it was about a $400 inspection, uncovered almost $100,000 initial investment into the house, you know, save the buyers tons of money. I mean, to me, it's simple. You have to protect your investment, you know, spend, you know, a few $100s, you know, on a purchase of that kind of a magnitude. That's a no-brainer. But, you know, inspection's not always a bad thing. You know, it's not always going to come out, you know, bad. Inspector is bound to find something wrong with the house. That's their job to do it. They're hired by the buyers. They don't work for me. They don't work for the bank. They work for the buyers, so they have to find something. Giving you another example.
But sometimes what the home inspector finds is not structural, and it's just general maintenance that you need to come up with anyway, so don't worry about it.
That's exactly what it is. You know, and especially first-time home buyers, they're just so scared sometimes. They're used to renting, getting their things fixed and maintained by the landlord. It's a little bit different when you're buying a house. So, you know, going back to this, they will find something, you know, GFCI outlets, you know, that's a simple fix, you know, $15, $20 fixed that some buyers may be scared of. One of my inspections done last week, the biggest issue that the inspector found was actually a bedroom door wasn't locking properly. You know, if you have problems like this, you know, we're going to be all happy buying a house like this. So, again, don't be scared of the inspection. Make sure you get it. You know, the worst thing that happens, you back out of the deal, you save some money. There's always other deals on the market. Yeah, it might take a little bit of time to find it, but I always say, you know, what's meant to be, it's meant to be, and, you know, we'll find you the right house.
But for your own peace of mind and protection, get the home inspection done. I'm an appraiser with a background in building technology, and I highly recommend it too. But Mark McKenna, how can somebody get a hold of you for your expert advice?
You know what? The best way to find me is to call my cell phone directly, 847-790-6749. You can also get my bio on the Real Estate Revealed website. And again, my cell phone, 847-790-6749. All my Polish listeners, you know, have a happy Sunday. Jak się masz? Do widzenia.
Yeah, Mark McKenna's fluent in Polish. Hey, wow, where did this hour go? If you missed any part of the hour, get out to the show site tomorrow, Monday, and you can listen to the podcast of today's show and any of the past shows. realestaterevealed.com, REVEALED.com. And I got to thank the other co-hosts who are not here, but they will be here next week. Pat Canone, mortgage loan consultant from the Loan Depot. Teresa Mueller, broker-owner of the Trillium Group. Brad Heddick, owner of Commercial Lending X. Kim Alden, realtor and principal at Compass. And, of course, George Hoffman, the great producer who runs everything here at AM 560 The Answer. And I always like to finish the show with inspirational quotes. You know me. You know what? I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel, right? Also, you know what? Life happens to all of us. It's how we react to everything that is the difference between where we are now and where we deserve to be. You see, we can't direct the wind, but we can adjust our sails. And you know what? Be well, make it a great week, and I can't wait to see you here again next Sunday morning on AM 560 The Answer. And as I always like to say, be good to yourself, everybody. Be good to others, and tell someone each day that you love them. Thanks again for listening. See you next Sunday morning right here.